Elias Thorne stands before his apartment door. His key trembles. The yellow eviction notice is taped at eye level, a bright, ugly wound against the peeling brown paint. Before Elias can touch the paper, a small, paint-stained hand reaches out. 7-year-old Leo snatches the notice, crumpling it behind his back with a guilty, protective smile. Inside the dim apartment, Leo frantically shoves the notice under a large drawing of a rocket ship on the kitchen table. "Look, Dad! It's got extra boosters for the moon." Elias watches him. He sees the effort in the boy's shoulders. He knows Leo is trying to fix the sadness. Elias's heart feels like it's being squeezed by a giant, invisible hand. Elias catches his reflection in the hallway mirror. He looks 50, though he's barely 38. His eyes are recessed, his jawline shadowed by 3-day stubble. He looks at his fingernails. No matter how hard he scrubs with orange pumice soap, the shipyard grease from years ago seems to live in his pores, a permanent brand of a life that no longer exists. He glances into his bedroom. The nightstand on the left side is bare. No lamp, no book, no wedding ring. The ring had paid for Leo's last 3 months of asthma medication. For a split second, he smells her lavender and toasted bread. It's a phantom limb of a memory. He closes his eyes until the scent vanishes into the smell of damp carpet. Elias moves to the stove. His left knee clicks a sharp, metallic protest. The accident at the docks hadn't just broken his bone. It had broken his career, his mobility, and his pride. He opens the cupboard. 1 box of generic macaroni. Half a jar of peanut butter. The reality of nothing is a physical weight in the room. Leo coughs. It's a dry, rattling sound. Elias checks the calendar. "Time for the clinic, Sprout," he says, forcing a lightness into his voice that feels like a lie. They walk down the 4 flights of stairs. The elevator has been broken since the previous winter. Elias counts the steps, each one a jolt of fire in his leg. They emerge into the city. The noise hits them like a wave-yellow cabs honking, the hiss of bus brakes, the frantic energy of a Tuesday afternoon. Elias reaches down. Leo's hand is small and warm. Elias grips it perhaps a little too tight. He feels like if he lets go, the city will swallow the boy whole. They sit in the waiting room. The air is thick with the smell of floor wax and sickness. A TV in the corner plays news with the sound off. Dr. Harassing looks at Elias over his spectacles. He doesn't ask about the bill, he knows the answer. He's doing better, Elias, but he needs the nebulizer nightly. "Don't skip." Elias nods, thinking of the electricity bill. Nightly, he does the math in his head. Lights off by 7, nebulizer at 8. He can manage that? They leave the clinic. The sun is beginning to dip, casting long, dramatic shadows across the pavement, shadows that look like bars. The smell of honey-roasted peanuts wafts through the air. Leo stops, inhaling deeply. He doesn't ask. He knows better than to ask. Elias reaches into his pocket. He feels a crumpled $5 bill. It's bus fare for tomorrow. He looks at Leo's thin face. "1 bag," Elias says to the vendor. The vendor hands over the warm paper cone. The $5 bill vanishes. Elias will walk 5 miles tomorrow. Leo offers the first nut to his father. Elias shakes his head. "No, you need the energy from Mars, Captain." As they turn onto 5th Avenue, the temperature of the crowd changes. The rhythmic flow of the sidewalk stutters. Elias sees her first. A woman in a white dress, so bright it seems to glow against the grime of the city. She looks like a swan in a storm. A group of 4 young men are walking toward her, cutting off her path. Their body language is jagged, aggressive, and predatory. The boys fan out. It's a practiced movement. They aren't just walking. They are hunting in the open daylight. Her eyes dart left, then right. The exit routes are blocked. Her skin goes 3 shades paler. One of the boys, wearing a dark leather jacket, laughs. It's a cold, hollow sound that cuts through the traffic noise. He steps into her personal space. He's close enough to smell her perfume. He leans down, whispering something that makes her chest heave. A man in a tailored suit walks right past them, eyes fixed on his Rolex. A woman with shopping bags speeds up her pace. Elias stops. Leo pulls on his hand. "Dad, why is that lady crying?" Elias looks at the woman's hands. She is clutching a small silver locket. It's the exact shape of the one Sarah wore. It's a talisman against the dark. Elias remembers a night 5 years ago. He had defended Sarah from a drunk outside a theater. He had been whole then, strong, unbroken. He feels the ache in his knee. He feels the hunger in his stomach. He feels the crushing weight of the eviction notice in his pocket. He is a nobody now. One of the boys reaches out and grabs the woman's upper arm. She lets out a sharp, choked gasp. Elias looks at Leo. He realizes he is teaching his son how to be a man in this very second. Silence is a lesson. Action is a lesson. Elias draws in air. It feels sharp, like needles in his lungs. He squares his shoulders, a ghost of the shipyard worker returning to his frame. Leo, Elias says, his voice a low, vibrating rumble. Stay behind me. Don't let go of my coat. No matter what, Elias begins to walk toward the circle. He doesn't run. He moves with a heavy, inevitable momentum. A few people stop to watch now. They sense a collision coming. The air feels charged with static. She makes eye contact with Elias. Her eyes are wide, begging for a miracle. She sees a man with a limp and a child, and her hope flickers. Elias enters the 5-foot radius of the group. The leader turns, eyes narrowed, a smirk beginning to form on his young, cruel face. Elias stands tall. Despite the limp, he is a broad man. His shadow falls over the leader, blocking the sun. The leader opens his mouth to speak, but the words die. There is something in Elias's eyes, the look of a man who has already lost everything and therefore has nothing left to fear. Elias leans in, his hand still holding Leo's, and says in a voice that would stop a heartbeat, "You're in my way, son. And I'm having a very long day." Elias Thorne stands inches from the leader of the group. The height difference is negligible, but the weight of presence is lopsided. Elias feels like an oak tree. The boy feels like a sapling. The boy in the designer jacket recovers. He laughs, but it's a nervous, high-pitched sound. "You're in my way, old man." "This isn't your business." The boy reaches out, his finger jabbing toward Elias's chest. "Walk away while you still can. This leg of yours looks like it's one kick away from snapping." Elias feels a spark of the man he used to be, the man who moved steel beams at the shipyard. It's not anger. It's a cold, protective clarity. Elias feels the tug on his coat. Leo is trembling, but he hasn't moved. He is an anchor. Elias knows he cannot fail in front of this anchor. The woman in white Clara shivers. Her breath is coming in short, jagged bursts. She looks at Elias's frayed sleeves and then at the boy's expensive shoes. She sees the inequality of the fight. A taller, lankier teen steps to the side, trying to get behind Elias. He's looking for a blind spot. Years of working on dangerous docks taught Elias to see without looking. He shifts his weight slightly, blocking the flank without taking his eyes off the leader. The surrounding pedestrians have finally stopped. They form a wider ring. Nobody is helping, but they are witnessing. The silence is heavy, like a storm about to break. "I'm not an old man," Elias says softly. His voice is a low vibration that seems to hum in the leader's chest. "I'm a father who is tired of seeing his son scared." The boy sees something in Elias's eyes, a depth of sorrow and steel that he doesn't understand. It's the look of someone who has stared at an eviction notice and a grave and didn't blink. The leader reaches into his pocket. He pulls out a heavy, brass-knuckle keychain. It's a small detail, but it changes the stakes. A woman in the crowd lets out a small, "Oh!" People take a step back. The danger has transitioned from harassment to potential violence. Elias doesn't move. He doesn't even put up his fists. He just stands there, a human shield for Leo and Clara. For a second, Elias hears the sound of the falling shipping container, the metal-on-metal scream that crushed his leg. He realizes this boy is nothing compared to a ton of falling steel. "You think that makes you strong?" Elias asks, nodding at the brass knuckles. "That's just a toy for someone who's afraid to stand on his own." The leader lunges forward. It's a feint meant to make Elias flinch. Elias doesn't move, not an inch. He doesn't even blink. The boy stumbles back slightly, his momentum betrayed by Elias's lack of reaction. He looks at his friends, seeking validation. The third boy in the group, the quietest one, looks at Leo. He sees the child's tear-streaked face. His bravado starts to crumble. "I've lost a lot of things," Elias says, his voice gaining volume. "I lost a job I loved. I lost the woman I lived for." Today I lost the roof over my head. The crowd leans in. This isn't just a fight anymore, it's a sermon. But I haven't lost my dignity. And I haven't lost my duty to show my son what a man does when he sees a coward. It hangs in the air. It's the one word the leader can't stomach. He raises his hand to strike. Clara, the woman in white, suddenly speaks. Her voice is shaky but clear. Please stop, he's just trying to help me. The leader snarls at her. Shut up. You're the reason we're even here. When the boy screams at the woman, Elias's hand moves. It's a blur. He grabs the leader's wrist, the one holding the brass knuckles. Elias's hand is calloused and immense. He squeezes. He doesn't break anything, but the boy feels the crushing power of a man who used to haul chain. Elias pulls the boy in close, their faces inches apart. Do not raise your voice. To her, the quietest boy in the group turns and starts walking away. I'm out, man. This is messed up. The lanky teen looks at Elias's grip on the leader, then at the disappearing friend. He fades back into the crowd. Elias lets go of the boy's wrist. The boy stumbles back, rubbing his arm. The brass knuckles fall to the pavement with a dull clink. The street goes dead quiet. The leader looks around. He is alone. The crowd is judging him. The broken man has won without throwing a single punch. You're all crazy, the boy spits, but his voice is thin. He turns and runs, his expensive shoes clicking frantically on the asphalt. Elias lets out a breath he feels like he's been holding for 3 years. His bad knee buckles slightly, but he catches himself. Clara steps forward. She is shaking so hard she can barely stand. She reaches out and touches Elias's arm, the fabric of his worn jacket. My mother's ashes are in here, she whispers, clutching her locket. They were going to take it. Thank you. Oh God, thank you. Elias just nods. I'm glad you're safe, miss. You should get a cab? Don't walk the rest of the way. Leo lets go of the coat and wraps his arms around his father's waist. He's not crying anymore. He's beaming. You were like a giant, Dad. A woman from the crowd walks up and hands Clara a tissue. A man steps out and hails a cab for her. The river of people has become a community again. Before getting in the cab, Clara stops. She looks at Elias, really looks at him, the grease, the limp, the kindness. Wait, you said you lost your home today? Elias looks at the ground. Just a bad run of luck? We'll be fine. She reaches into her small bag and hands him a card. Clara Vane, Director of the St. Jude Community Trust. We help people who have bad runs of luck and the courage to stand up for others. Please, come see me tomorrow. Elias looks at the card. It's not just paper, it's a life raft. He looks at Clara, and for the first time in years, he sees a path forward. The cab pulls away. Elias and Leo are alone on the sidewalk again. The sun has set, and the city lights are beginning to flicker on. Elias picks up Leo and settles him on his hip. He turns toward their small, temporary apartment, walking with a limp that no longer feels like a burden, but a badge. Behind them, the street is no longer silent. It's alive with the sound of a city that feels a little less cold.